Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on Disney Plus. It's time for the weekly Q&A. So big hello. So all of these questions have come in through our YouTube channel members and also Patreon. So these have been put in. So every week I put up a little note inside Patreon and YouTube channel members asking for their questions. They also have the live chat going on right now. So a big hello to Nathan. We've also got Joshua and Joe in there as well. Huge thank you to Lester for the super chat. That was really appreciative. So yes, basically becoming a Patreon or a YouTube channel member or using the super chat just helps kind of fund the channel and all the costs and stuff that come involved with that. So we've got lots of questions coming in. So yeah, big thank you. So let's jump into it. Didn't do one last week, obviously because of Easter. Decided to take the Sunday off. So let's jump into it. So first off, Joe's just popped in one on live chat, so we might as well do that one first. Roger said, Disney say when Golden Girls was coming in the UK and Ireland. Now, this was mentioned during a press event back in February, just before Disney Plus launched Star. And they just confirmed, it just said summer. So that's all they said was summer. There wasn't any dates or anything like that, which is unfortunate. But just one of those situations, I think, really, they didn't particularly state a particular time. But nevertheless, now let's just have a look at and jump into some of the other questions that have been pre-done. Okay, so Caleb asks, I know it's not completely a Disney Plus question, but with the reports of Netflix getting a Sony output deal in 2022 and beyond, do you see Netflix acquiring Sony's film division later on, and would the rights of SpiderMan revert back to Marvel? Also read from Culture Cave that Disney could make a deal with Sony to have Homecoming and other movies in the future. There was also another question very similar. I'm just going to have a quick look. Joshua asked, with the announcement of the Netflix and Sony deal, how do you think Disney will react to this in the future? So might as well do that all in one. So as far as this goes, first off, I think from Sony's point of view, it makes a lot of sense. You know, they don't want to start up their own stream service. They've already got their sort of the anime one, but Crunchyroll. But from their point of view, they're probably going to get more money by selling it on to Netflix. They're still going to go through cinema. They can still do bits and pieces. I would not be at all surprised if Disney did some kind of other deals, maybe for future things where they maybe get paid 2 licenses, or they could be shared. There's still room for movement, but I think ultimately Netflix have paid a lot of money for it, so they'll want it. And it depends. They might have gone to Disney and stated how much do you want for it, and Disney were like, we're not paying you that much. Well, Netflix were, and there could have been a bit of a bartering going on with that. So that's one way you could look at it. I still wouldn't hold out too much hopes for the idea of them coming, but I could easily see them doing a deal. Right, okay, you've got these, but they're non-exclusive. A bit different with the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, the 3 of them, because that will come in before the Netflix deal. So that is very tricky in terms of the Spider-Man movies. So all 3 of the main Spider movies will be done differently, and also it depends on the distribution rights for the 3rd movie. We might be a little bit different, but yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily hold out for that. As far as what Disney will do, I don't think Disney are going to do anything really too much regarding the Netflix thing. They just maybe might try and lock in some of the issues going on with Marvel. I think we're going to end up having with Sony what we saw with Fox, where they're kind of doing too much and they're selling it out to different companies, and Disney are going to have a thing. I think generally the consensus is that if Sony do get brought out by anyone, the rights to Marvel would revert, or Spider-Man and all the characters would revert back. However, it doesn't necessarily mean the rights for those movies that have already been made return. It's just a character. Could Sony be picked up by somebody else? I think the more likely Sony would sell its entertainment business, but it's just made a load of money from it, so I don't see it going anywhere time soon. They've just kind of secured themselves a lot of money. There's a lot of money to be made on the back end. Okay, let's jump back into some other ones. Connor asks, what's your view on Disney Plus changing its release schedule from its current Friday-only rule? I think Disney Plus should do Star content on Tuesdays, with everything else continuing with Fridays. And I believe I did see another question very similar to this one. Maybe not. Oh, yes, we did. So Gavin also asked, do you think they will plan on changing days for new content, which include day after the US? So that's kind of connected, but kind of different. So let's first off start on. We did talk about it on yesterday's podcast, where apparently there's rumors and kind of reports of them looking into maybe spreading stuff out. For me personally, I do like the Friday drop. I think it looks impressive when you've got that many shows live, especially now we've got like 10, 12 shows dropping. It's all right on time for the weekend. We know what's there. Do I think it might benefit from being a bit more spread out during the week? Maybe so, especially when you're starting to get 2 or 3 Disney Plus originals dropping at any given one time. Maybe keeping the Marvel ones and the Star Wars ones for the Friday. I think this seems to be working. I could see them doing something. I wouldn't mind them shifting the Star off to a different day, but in the same way, when now you look at that list every week, you can't say, oh, there's nothing on there. There's a big chunk of it, and having it all on one day isn't a bad idea. It definitely keeps everything focused, gives everything ready for the weekend. It gives them time as well to promote it going up to it. But we've never really been in that. I think we're in that weird situation now where we've suddenly got multiple shows, multiple episodes dropping, so it's keeping that momentum going. Especially for 3 months, it's quite hard. For like Mighty Ducks to keep that going, especially in the shadow of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. With regards to doing day and day, they are doing it with the Gordon Ramsay show in the US later this year, where it'll be available the next day. I think they need to start doing something like that with the Disney Channel and National Geographic, and just start doing it with that would be. As far as doing it with Star, I don't. It's difficult. I mean, in some ways it's easier to do it nowadays, but yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one with spoilers and all the rest of it. I mean, it's like Rebel this week. I don't understand why we don't get Rebel like now this Friday instead of having wait like 2 months. Like, why not? And Aretha as well. Why does the UK get it in June? Why is Australia getting it at the end of April when it was on? Why not just do a simultaneous release? I don't know. So that's a bit of an odd one. Mo from Steamer asked, would you like to see Disney create more adult-orientated MCU shows now that they have comprehensive streaming services around the world? Judging off the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I don't know necessarily if they actually need to, because essentially now that they've they're getting it feels like, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is kind of pushing the envelope in terms of swearing, in terms of blood and violence and stuff. So they are pushing it on a little bit. So I do think that is something to be aware of, that they might necessarily need to. We are going to be getting like MODOK and stuff on Hulu in the US. It makes it a lot easier for them to do that and split it in the US, where they can do it. There's been rumors of like a Deadpool ones. I don't think within the MCU they're going to go down that line. I think the animation they can do something a little bit more tricky with. So they're doing it, but the question is, what's going to happen afterwards? I mean, it's like watching Hellstrom. It doesn't particularly feel much more different than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There doesn't seem to be. There's really not. I think we're in a very different. Okay, I think we had a little technical issue where we went a little bit red. I think we did have a technical issue, so we are back live. So I do apologise. Now I'm going to wait I'm just going to ask on the live chat. Did you hear my entire answer to the MCU question? Do I have to redo it? But in the way I'll wait for that response, because there's a little bit of a delay, I will just do the next question, which was, do you think Disney could launch worldwide or wide in Africa this year? Now, important thing with Africa is Disney Plus hasn't really launched much into there yet. They have got to deal with another network sort of showing off bits and pieces there. But the problem is with Africa, while there is obviously a lot of people there, so there was some buffering. So I'm going to go back and redo that question just because of that. So as far as Africa goes, I do think there is an issue with how many people they were going to support. Apparently Netflix only have like 2 million subscribers in Africa. So while there's a large amount of people there, the subscription base is not that large. So I think they're going to get into it eventually. I'm surprised, they don't go more into Egypt. I mean, 2 million doesn't sound a lot for Africa for Netflix. That's what I just looked at. But yeah, I am a little bit. I think they need to do. I mean, it just makes sense to get out there, get it there, make it available to everybody, and I think that's definitely going to be the thing for. I think we're going to see a bit more of that a little bit later on. So as regarding to MCU shows, I think Hulu gives them an opportunity to do stuff as well as with Star. But looking at how Falcon and the Winter Soldier is kind of pushing the envelope, I'm starting to question whether or not they need to. Things like MODOK and Hellstrom were kind of the leftovers of the old Marvel zone. So that's a bit of an issue. So that's my thing. I don't know. I don't. I'd love them to bring back Daredevil. I'd love to bring them back, but I think they want them all on Disney Plus. I think they want that. I think they'd be better to tone it down a little bit and give it on Disney Plus, then go everywhere. I mean, I'd love to see Daredevil return. I think. I mean, there's some stuff that was in those Netflix shows that I really wouldn't like. I'm not that bothered about. There was some of the stuff that was in Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. Like, did we need it? Does it improve my version of watching it? Nah, I'm not really. I think PG-14, PG-13 is perfectly acceptable. I get a little bit of the violence and stuff, but yeah, I personally, for me, I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is showing that they can do it on Disney Plus. Okay, jumping into some of the live chat now. Okay, so we've got Joe asked, "How was your Easter?" It was it actually was quite nice because the rules of being able to see more than 6 people, or being able to see 6 people, meant that I was actually able to go see like my brother and my nephews, saw my parents, saw my in-laws. We all sat in the garden and stuff, so it's kind of quite nice. It's a bit of an odd one. Second year running, like not working in the real world because of the real business being shut down. I mean, we can reopen this week, so it's going to be a little bit different with everything going on. So it was a bit of a weird one, really. The second Easter at home, very different. But I enjoyed it. It was kind of nice. I've never really had Easters for like 20, 25 plus years. It was a bit odd. Okay, jumping in here now to when is Mines coming to Disney Plus in the UK? Because Ireland's don't have BBC iPlayer. Now, interestingly, there was actually a question about Mines, which Connor put in. And I'm just going to bring this one up. Let me just see here. So Connor asked, "I've discovered that the FX content deal with the BBC expires on the 1st of November. How could this impact existing FX content on iPlayer?" So we don't really know the full details of how long it is. I would imagine that once this 3rd season has aired on the BBC and it's not available, then it will disappear at some point. All that stuff with the Sky. It is weird with the Mines. It's available on other networks. So as far as what it's doing in Ireland, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, it's a bit of an odd one. The Ireland kind of gets lumped in, obviously, with the UK. I mean, I do it all the time in terms of what I'm doing. I don't know if it's just because of the amount of people out there, but the press releases and stuff, you kind of get lumped in with the UK side. So I don't know why you haven't got it. It might just be a logistic thing of like UK and Ireland get lumped in together. So that's a bit of an issue. Okay. So here we go. So we got. Do you think we could get The Night House on Disney Plus in June? Okay, so that's the scary movie on the lake, isn't it? I don't think I think it's going to go to cinemas. I think cinemas are going to be up and running. I think they're going to want to get some money from it. I think it will be arriving on Disney Plus in about 3 months after it comes out. I don't think they'll be doing the dual release. I don't think they need to because of the budget so much smaller on these kind of Searchlight movies. They don't need to worry about it. So that's that one. Yeah, it looks a bit scary. I think it's a movie my wife would like to watch. Joe also asked, "Do you think we'll ever see Bear in the Blue House on Disney Plus? And when do you think I don't know why Tailspin is not out on the UK. It's really weird how sometimes this stuff works. As far as Bear in the Blue House, I think is a I'm just gonna have a quick look because I think the trouble is with this show is it gets requested all the time on our Facebook group. People are always asking for it. It might be just the one that the quality of the show isn't up to standard. I'm just gonna have a quick look here just to see what the distribution and stuff are on it. Okay, so it is distributed by Disney and the Jim Henson Company, so it looks like they have got the deal for it. It might be, and I'm just looking here at the dates, because there seems to be a lot of the shows from like the 2000s and beyond, and the 90s and stuff. I don't think the quality is up to where they want it, so they seem to be doing a lot more of it. I think if we're going to see it when we've got more chance now, see it what happened in April, much more chance of getting it. I think once it arrives in the US, it will just generally sort of splinter out to everybody else. I mean, look at what's happened with dinosaurs. I mean, why did we get it so much later? Okay, so jumping back in here into most of it. When do you think we could see Mixed-ish on Disney Plus UK? So we got Grown-ish is coming. We're getting both seasons in the UK next week on Friday. and season 3 is starting in the UK at the end of the month. Australia and Canada are getting episodes already, but they've already had the seasons ones. I think over here we've not really seen it. I think it depends really with Mixed-ish is where is it at the minutes. See, it's whether or not it's on Sky, because I don't know on that one, because I know because it wasn't over here, was it? I think because in Australia, I think it's actually down as a Star original, because it's the only place it's out. But yeah, just looking at here, it has been renewed, and so it's coming out. So I don't know. It might be that they're just holding on to it. Okay, so I'm back in the room. We seem to have some streaming issues tonight. I've just moved over onto a different Wi-Fi to see if that improves it. Ironically, I was supposed to be on the better one. So again, so you might be. Yes, it was for a little bit. I don't know what was going on there. I did sometimes my internet is a bit odd, but okay. So did I do the full aftermath in the question mark, Aldiv? And if not, I'll then move on to the next question. Okay, so Joshua asks, seems like Disney are stating that a new unknown character is going to be turning up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm wondering if you've heard who it is. If not, I take it it's not Mystifio or Mustapha. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff running around on the internet that there's going to be a new character introduced in the 5th episode with a big actor, and I think the character we've not seen before. So this could be fun. It's got everyone talking. I'm a little bit along the lines of, I think after everything that went on with WandaVision, a lot of people are a bit more worried about what's going on. You know, not really worried, but they just kind of, it went so overboard with every character coming in. We don't know who it is, what it's going to be. I've got no idea, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not really looking for the answer. I'm kind of at that point now where I really just, I'd rather not kind of speculate, because there's so many Marvel. I mean, there's so many of them. I'm more interested in who the actor is. I'm wondering if it's going to set up something for like Thunderbolts or something like that. So Johnny asked, do you know if there's any new date for when the aftermath will drop? We don't yet know, and I'm expecting we probably might find out some more information by the end of the week, because we've been getting the UK information much earlier than we were getting it before Star launched. So hopefully we'll find out soon, because don't know why that one. It's just one of those things. It's really annoying when it happens with Disney, where they announce something and then suddenly they pull it at the last minute. And do you think Blackish season 6 will come to Disney Plus in the UK? See, Blackish is probably a little bit different than Grownish and Mixedish, because it's whereas it's been before. It has Sky, and I think Sky used to air it, so it might be a little bit tricky with that one. Okay, let's jump back into some of the pre-done questions. So the random movie fan asks, since The Right Stuff season 2 is moving to another network service, does this mean season 2 could still come to Disney Plus if they still have the distribution rights? No. If they end up pushing it over to HBO Max, they won't. Disney Plus will not have the rights to it. They've passed on it. They've essentially turned around and said, look, they've only got season 1. So yeah, I can't see that happening. Okay, so Joshua asks, with the recent appointment of another person from Channel 4 in the United Kingdom as a director of scripted content for Disney Plus in Europe, Middle East and Africa, how do you see Disney moving forward with this as time of typing? So I'm guessing right now he's going to be, I mean, I think he doesn't even start till the summer. So we're talking like, if he's still only at the point of the summer, he has to find the scripts, find it, have meetings, come up with the deals, and then get everybody on board. You know, we're talking, it could be years before we see anything. They are planning long term. They are planning much more in advance than we maybe think. You know, they're going to be, this will be years away. You're looking right now, Disney Plus is trying to be a major thing in a few years' time over here. And the more British content they have, the easier it will be for them to convince, you know, people to sign up. British content will appeal to British audiences, but also, and this is the great thing, the UK content is also then able to be used internationally. It can be used in Australia, Canada, and it can be dubbed for other countries, and also can be useful for the US, and especially because they can use the Star originals on Hulu. They've already stated it. In some way, the British ones are kind of at an advantage where they can use them much more openly, and we have great television over here, and already a lot of stuff gets shipped out to different countries already. So I think it just means, and it helps towards the quota and all the rest of it. So it's just a win-win-win-win. Also goes after a different type of creatives and just does something different. I think this is just good. I think it'll be good for content. In the US, they'll like having some maybe something a bit more gritty, a bit more. And I think that's just going to be the way it goes with it. There'll be a lot more of this great adult content. And he's also doing Disney Plus originals, and there's going to be a lot of unscripted stuff. I think in order to grow over here in Europe to be like that next big thing, they're going to need original content featuring Star Wars and Marvel's appeal to certain people, but if they want to get mainstream, they're going to want to have people that that represent people here as well. And I think it's going to be great. I mean, the fact that they've signed up all these people says to me that they're investing heavily in it. They know that this is their future, and they've got to continue to grow. I mean, ultimately there's 60-80 million people in the UK, so if they can get more people signed up, all the better. Joe asks, are you going to watch Mortal Kombat next week? No, I will watch Mortal Kombat when I can just rent it for normal price. I'm not paying like $16-17 for the Sky Cinema version. I have loved Mortal Kombat since the very first video game, way back when I used to play it in the arcade, and it used to, and then I remember buying it on the Sega Genesis, and I used to have the code to put all the things in to do all the fatalities. And I remember having 1, 2, and 3. I then stopped playing that for a while. I have played, I think, 9 and 10 because they were on Xbox Games Pass. I think I only played 10, but I'm familiar with Mortal Kombat. I've been get over here and all of that kind of stuff. So I will watch it, but it's not on the top of my priority list. I'll be honest. If it was made by 20th Century Studios, I probably would be a little bit more in line to do it because of what we do. But I do want to watch it, but I'm not willing to pay the HBO or the Sky price. The same thing with Godzilla versus Kong. I want to watch it, and I want to see Wonder Woman. But it's the kind of movie. Even if it was in cinemas and it wasn't out on things, I'd probably just wait for it to be a rental for like £5. Johnny asks, do you think the Prince Outer show could drop on Disney Plus before the live action sequel or not? It's gone very quiet. I haven't heard anything, any rumors or anything on that show for probably well over a year. That's been very quiet. There's not been anything. They might. I'd imagine if they're doing this sequel. I mean, there's just been nothing. I've just heard absolutely nothing about that one. Okay, so next question here from Mike. Would you like to see SpiderMan and his amazing friends in the MCU? What cartoon animation film would you like to see made into live action film that is not already one? Well, actually, Spider-Man and his amazing friends was probably one of my favourite shows when I was a kid, because it came out right when I was at the right age and I had my Spider-Man action figures and cartoon. That was the main show. So, I always associate like Firestar and Iceman with. I never associated Iceman with X-Men. He was the Spider-Man's friend. I'd like to see them added into the MCU without a doubt. And whether or not I don't think they do it in the actual movie, but it could be fun. But I think they want to do Iceman probably more for the X-Men. As far as live action anime, I don't want them to do any more. Just leave them alone. Leave the live action to be live action and do the animation. I really don't want to watch any more live action remakes. I'm just over them. If they never made another one, I'd be quite happy. So Joe asks, did you watch Filthy Rich? Yes, I did. I did actually put my written review up on Thursday of the first episode. I've only watched the first episode. I actually saw it a few weeks ago. I had an early copy of it to watch. Same with a few of the other episodes for the coming weeks, but I'll be honest, I haven't gone any further. I wasn't a fan. I didn't really gel with it. I didn't really like Kim's character. I just felt the host show. And also, it's been cancelled, so it didn't captivate me. Whereas, like, Next and Hellstrom was like, okay, that's cool. Let's see where this goes. But even there, they're kind of like, I'll watch them a bit later on. Yeah, with Filthy Rich, it just didn't didn't connect with me. Just didn't really. So Joe then asked, when do you think Ready or Not will come to Disney Plus? It's funny, I saw Ready or Not pop up on Australia's one the other day. I think it was Australia or Canada. And it was funny because I thought, oh yeah, that was one I wanted to watch. So I'm just having a look here now. So Ready or Not. The thing is, it's 2019, so it's a bit tricky. It might still be on. This is not available anywhere. I don't know why it's not. It's still on. It's still on now. So let's have a look. See when it leaves now. That's always going to be the first check with the. Right, it doesn't leave now until July the 26th in the UK. So that'll be why we're probably going to have to wait a little bit longer for it to leave. There. Let's jump into some of these other questions here. So we've done the first one with Danger. So Gavin asks, what UK shows such as 911 or Station 19 that are still airing on Sky, how long until they take to disappear off Sky? Well, let's take, for example, Grey's Anatomy's Season 16, which just dropped onto Disney Plus last week in the UK. Season 17 only just started this past week in the UK. I'm guessing there might be a year delay. That's my guess on that one. Also, we've got Season 3 of 911 coming up this month on the UK. And I've finished watching Season 3 a couple of months ago on Sky, so I'm guessing we're probably due for Season 4. So it looks like it might be a year later. Okay, other questions. So Gavin asks, with Star launching in South America as a separate app to Disney Plus, do you see them merging them together in some point? I think if they've planned on launching it separately, there's a very good reason for this. Interesting thing with the Star and Star Plus, or especially Star Plus down in Latin America, is Disney Plus is getting actually a lot of shows that I would consider to be Star. I think like this week they got Fresh Off the Boat. So they've actually been getting some more mature content. They've got Glee, so it's a little bit more blurry down in South America. And I think the main reason is for this is because Star Plus is primarily going to be the sports content and the really mature stuff. I think they maybe have kind of want to keep pushing Disney Plus, and I think Star Plus is going to be primarily the sports aspect is what they're really going to be pushing. It's essentially becoming ESPN Plus with extra content. Jumping now in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these questions and then we'll jump back into the live chat. So Mo asks, what are your predictions for the Disney Plus subscriber numbers by the end of 2021? I'm going to put my just 140, 150. Yeah, probably 140. Let's give it. I mean, that's still another 40 million. It depends how many more countries they can launch in. Yeah. So, and also all these Marvel shows. How many more are they boosting it up? Connor asks, with Star replacing Fox channels in Mexico, do you see the UK following suit? If not, could you see linear Fox channel close with all the Disney-owned content moving over to Disney Plus? Right. So it was funny you mentioned this because I just before we went online, I wanted to go on it and have a look at see what's going on and go, right, okay, well, what's on there? Because I haven't watched Fox TV over here for a while, and so I just had a look, and it was like gang related new series starts tomorrow, and then I looked on Wikipedia. That's been cancelled. That's finished years ago. Rush, that's owed. Also, that one's just started. The Grinder is an owed series. New episode dropping. Bones, new episodes dropping. I have a feeling that they probably got contracts in place on Fox TV that they're going to have to run out. The fact that they're still showing old shows is a bit strange. I think they are going to keep that going until they essentially don't have any more stuff to go on. I think all the new stuff is just going to be going straight through. They might continue to cast it if they want to, but depends if they're making money from it. If they're still making money from the channel, I think my parents just watch NCIS on it constantly. Okay. Yeah. Do you think any episodes of NCIS will make it onto Disney Plus in the future? I think it would be nice. Do you know what I would really like? I'd actually like it if they could do it and have the first season, because every time I look on Sky to sort of have a look, it just it was like no. NCIS. I'm just looking to see. So at the minute they're all on Amazon Prime Video season 15. And I also we need to just see really. I think it's a CBS show, and and that's the problem. They might only have TV licensed streaming. Yeah, CBS have the distribution rights, so it might be that they've only got access to the TV channels, and that's why that's like that. Yeah, so Josh is just putting NCI to CBS. It is CBS, but it obviously airs on the Fox channel here in the UK. Right, last question for me. So Connor asked about FX content with the BBC expiring in November. How would this impact current FX content on the iPlayer? I think eventually it will be going. Okay, and let's just see if we've got any more. I think so. We've done all of those questions. Oh yeah, here we go. So let's do some live questions now. So, Johnny asks, do you think there'll be any more National Geographic archive will be added to Disney Plus in the future, like stuff from 2000s and earlier? I think there will be. I think there will be more stuff arriving. The problem with National Geographic, again, is the Sky contract over here in the UK. And that's the only issue with that one. I think we will be seeing a lot. There was a lot of nice stuff added in the US. There's a Queen documentary in the last day documentary. There's just the US seem to be getting a lot more National Geographic stuff. Ours is a bit wishy-washy. I don't know why. I think it's due to Sky. Okay, so Johnny asked, do you think are there any older behind-the-scenes specials or Disney Plus? So there's a message pop there. TV specials could make its way onto Disney Plus. I know there's a lot from the 50s and the 80s. You got to think with a lot of this like older stuff from like that generation is it's got to be, is it in HD or high enough quality? How much money is it going to cost to convert it into better quality? Have they got to do the dubbing? Have they got to do subtitles? Audio descriptions, all that. How much is that worth to how much is it? So the behind the scenes stuff they can throw in as an extra. They could do that and maybe get around it that way. But I would think most of that stuff's going to be on like DVD extras and stuff. They'll do it. They will do the stuff they want to in terms of if they think it's worth it. If it's easy and cheap for them to do, I imagine they'll put more of the extras and behind the scenes stuff in. So Joe asked, last year we didn't have Star internationally with Star out this year. Do you think we'll get some content at the same time as the US or a couple of months after? So this is the interesting thing with this one. I asked this question during the Star press event a couple of months ago, and he said it's going to be a case-by-case basis, but ideally they said they're going to be getting as close to it as they can. My big thing is going to be Big Sky, because there's been no mention of Big Sky stopping or ending, because the second half of the season 1 starts this week in the US. I think it airs on Tuesday. And episode 10 would essentially be arriving on Disney Plus on Friday, which is only a 3-day delay. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens on Friday. Will we get Big Sky episode 10? And we'll be then literally 3 days behind the US. I don't see why we wouldn't. We get Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we get WandaVision, we get everything else. It's just this TV side. And I've said about Rebel. We're not getting Rebel till a bit later. That might be because there's maybe a mid-season break in the US. You know how the British networks over here don't tend to think we can handle it, so we don't get them. The Aretha Franklin thing, we're getting a bit later. It's annoying. You look at Solar Opposites, they're kind of doing. It wasn't too bad. We only had to wait a week for the first episode, but by the time that last episode drops, it'll be nearly 2 months. I think we're going to get them a bit quicker, but we're not going to get them as quickly as in the US. And it's kind of ridiculous on some other things as well, like with Disney Channel. Like, we don't even have the Disney Channel. Why is it taking so long? We should be getting these episodes. They're doing it in Australia, so I think they are going to get better. Okay, so we have got another question here. So, do you think Malcolm in the Middle will drop on the UK? It's something that was highly anticipated from Turin. Malcolm in the Middle was one of the very first shows that they announced way back, 2 years ago now? Yeah, 2 years ago, they announced that it would be coming, and it's never turned up. They even sold it to like Amazon in the US, and yeah, it's one of those really weird. I don't know why they haven't put it on there. I'm just seeing here now who's got it over here in the UK. So Channel 4 have got the rights in the UK, so that might be why we haven't got it. And I'm just going to check here. Malcolm in the Middle, just to see what's going on in the US as well, because I'm sure it went over to Amazon or IMDb, I think it was. Yeah, IMDb. They are all available on Hulu. I maybe Disney chickened out when they rewatched it and were like, it's not good for Disney Plus, but it doesn't matter for us internationally. I think it's just gonna have to, when that contract with Sky Channel 4 runs out, they'll get it. So we've done the NCIS question. So Joe asks, I hope American Horror Story comes to Disney Plus UK soon. Have you watched any of the good horror movies on Disney Plus? Any you could remember? I'm not a very good horror fan. I find a lot of them to be just a bit funny. I just kind of don't. I'm not a horror person. We did watch the Fright Night the other day when that one dropped onto my wife put on. My wife watches more of that stuff. I be honest with, as far as I'm concerned with horror, I'm really not it's not my genre. It's just something I've watched a few of them, watched the odd one here or there, but it's really not my forte. So I can't give you any recommendations on that one, because Friday Night was alright, fine for what it was, but I did just laugh. I just find them funny. They don't make me scared. They just yeah. Joshua asks, in regards to FX channel, does it depend on how much the carriage fees are? It depends. It could be if Sky have paid so much for it, and are they making money for it, and are they getting advertising. I think it will go eventually. I honestly do. I think it will be going eventually. Yeah, I think it will be going eventually. So Bad Dog Gamer, how would you rate Filthy Rich out of 10, and would you recommend it? Okay, so I did do a written review, so make sure on Thursdays, if you head over to what's on Disney Plus on Thursdays, I put up pretty much written reviews of all the Star Originals. That's when the embargoes generally lift on them. I can't think of what it was. It maybe was a 7 out of 10. No, I give them out 5 of them. So I think I only gave it like a 2.5 or 3. So yeah, maybe like a 5 or 6. I just didn't like it. I didn't. I mean, I would say to anybody with Disney Plus, watch it. Don't just go with what critics say. Don't, as much as I write reviews and stuff, I pretty much always take this. Watch it. Watch the first episode. If you like it, come back every week. If everybody in the world hates it but you like it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of it. It's what you think of it is the most important. And so give it a go. If you don't like it after 20 minutes, turn it off. That's the simplest way of doing it. So I would definitely say, I would recommend you watch the first episode and make your own opinion up. It's not like you're paying extra money for it. I mean, if you were having to pay for it, then I would say yeah, don't. But for me, I just found it a bit weird. I didn't like the religious aspect to it. That was my one thing with Filthy Rich, and I'm not gonna watch anymore. So while I could do reviews every Thursday for extra episodes, I kind of have a feeling of, if I really don't enjoy it, then what's the point of me just kind of going through week after week writing reviews on a show that I don't like, and the reviews are just going to get worse because I'm annoyed at it, and I'd rather watch something else. We just started watching, was it Quantico? That just started on the UK one over here. I'd rather watch an episode of something I've not seen than watching something I have, no interest in watching. Okay, so just checking the last question. So we've done all of those ones. Just checking we've done them all. Okay, so we've done them. I just want to make sure we've got... Oh, okay, here we go. So the Random Movie Fan asks, since the Unstoppable Yellow Yeti and the costume for Nicholas are coming to Disney Plus, will we see more animated content for the kids in the future? Definitely. We're going to see a lot more. All the Disney Channel stuff, they're going to be making so much of it. Yeah, there's just so much of that one. It really should be something that we're going to see lots more animated stuff. We've done the question from Joshua. Bad Dog Gamer asks, when will the New Mutants come to Disney Plus, do you think? Will Disney Plus promote it, or do you think they won't make much of a big deal of it? I don't think they'll make a big deal of it. That movie's dead in the water. I rented it a few months ago. Perfectly fine, enjoyable movie. I could see it coming on soon. I mean, it arrived on digital a few months ago. I don't know why they didn't hold off on it, but I can't see them making a big deal of it. I mean, look what they did with Hellstrom. They didn't barely promote that thing. It was dead in the water. Okay, I don't like it losing this one question. So there we go. And the last question from the paperwork, the pre-done ones, were Joshua asked, with the next Investors Day being on May the 13th to report the second quarter, do you think Disney will make any announcements about launch dates in other areas such as Eastern Europe As did previously announce it would be expanding in the area in 2021. We're now rapidly approaching May at the time of typing and little or no word. I think the thing is now is if you look at it from this point, May, they can now sit there and go, cinemas are reopening. People have got vaccinated. People can go to the cinemas. We've got Disneyland is now opened. Disneyland Paris will probably be opening at some point. Disney World's going up. Probably the Hong Kong, all the, I think like the Shanghai one's already up and running. The Tokyo one is. You got the Disney Cruise Line as well doing stuff. For example, here in the UK, they're going to be running. So it's going to be a bit more of an upbeat one. The last one they did was very much along the lines of damage control. They're going to want to come in hard on, we're reopening, we're getting going. And the best way they can do that is, we're going to be launching here, 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 and here. Here's some dates. I think we will get some dates. I'm pretty sure, I would imagine Eastern Europe, Japan are going to be the first one, South Korea. I would imagine, we've got Singapore, or not Singapore, we've got Thailand, we've got all through, I think they're going to be the first ones to go. The ones that they've previously said, where we already know they're taking on staff. Like I said before, Africa might be a little bit further down their plans. But if they don't, I could see them announcing something at that event to really start drumming in on that they're rebounding. They're going to want that good story. I think they're going to get a lot of that. And why do I keep doing this one here? Yep, so that's all the pre-done questions. Again, thank you for everyone that does that, because it really makes a massive impact. So what happens is I put that question up in the Patreon. I also put it up on the YouTube community tab. And what that does is it gives me a chance to, so even if the live chat if nobody turns up, I've got enough questions to kind of keep us going. It keeps us on a format. We've got lots of questions. But more importantly than that, I can do a little bit of research on each of the questions before we go live. So that's the other thing that's good for me is, when I put those questions up a bit earlier, it gives me a little bit of a chance to do a little bit of checking up and a little bit of research beforehand. So, sometimes it can be a couple of days in advance. So I'm going to start doing them a little bit earlier at the beginning of the week just to give me a bit more chance to do it. But yeah, so I'll be back to full. The plan is now just to keep rolling on as we go. And yeah, there's not going to be any holidays or anything. There will just be a week at the end of May that we won't do a live chat. But other than that, that'll pretty much be it. Okay, so Joe asked, I've started Revenge yesterday and it's good so far, but sometimes on Disney Plus, I can't decide what to watch. Do you ever have this problem? Revenge is a fantastic series. We really enjoyed that one. And that was such a great series. That was how I kind of fought with Emily Van Camp. That was where I saw her, was in that show. There's that kind of thing of like what to watch. And I kind of have a thing of if I got too many series on at once, it's a little bit tricky. So, we started watching X-Files again for some reason the other day, and there's a few other things. As far as there's so much on there. Yeah, it's tricky. I'm going to be honest. I'm trying. My main thing right now is obviously just trying to keep up with all the new stuff, because that's kind of more important for me right now, is keeping on top of all the new stuff. So coming up in the week ahead, we've got some review going up tomorrow for Secret of the Whales, and also the Big Shot. So we've got two. So those there are coming up this week. Did up Earth Moods yesterday. I've also got some of the Star stuff. So generally, I'm watching all the Star originals in advance. That's kind of why. As far as going back and watching stuff, the last few months we've been doing a lot of the retro reviews. I've kind of pre-prepped a lot of them in advance for the next couple of months due to real life commitments. So I've actually watched loads. I've probably watched about 15 to 20 movies in the last like 6 weeks on Disney Plus. So there's a load of stuff coming up over the next couple of months that we've already watched the movies to kind of remind ourselves and recorded them. So there's a lot of content I've been watching in advance. So when we get into the line, I like when a new stuff for something drops on, I watch them all. Joshua asked, I think you might have missed one of mine. Let me just check again. Okay, so we've done all of them. With the announcement of the Sony deal, we did the Sony one. We did the Investors Day. Those two were your questions. And the Channel 4 one, yeah, we've done that one. And I don't know if there was... Did I miss one when I took them down? No, and I think that was all of your questions, Josh. If just pop it in the live chat if you've got another one. It's perfectly fine. We'll do that one. When do you think we'll be getting the next second half of DuckTales season 3 in the UK? That was from Joe. I don't know. It's really, really weird how they're doing these like half. It feels like they're trying to work out how they're doing it. My guess is after the US get them. That'll be my guess. Would be the end of April. So I would imagine hopefully in May we get it. Joe asked, do you think we could ever get to see the Book of Pooh? That was a show of my childhood. It seems to be the big problem with a lot of those, again, what I mentioned before, it's those 80s and 90s, especially I think the 90s and naughty shows where the quality's not up to good and they're having like... And I also feel like... I think the problem is like with like the 80s, they already had the nostalgia view. And so what had happened was they'd already been done. And so like the new age group is now coming in, kind of wanting nostalgia, and they've not maybe treated it the same way as they thought before. So I'm just going to check on YouTube to see what... Yeah, Joshua, that question is not coming up on the YouTube one of what you've just asked. So let's have a look, see what your question is. So separately, as Disney is looking to increase its content in both non-scripted and scripted content, considering that Disney owns 50% of A&E networks in the US using Comcast, firstly, who is likely to own the rights? And second, is a company that accepts the commission? Could Disney pull them off those networks and place them on Disney Plus? Right, okay. So this is going to be the last question for the day. As far as the Hearst stuff with A&E is a bit tricky because they've leased out their content to Discovery in the US, to Discovery Plus, and then in Europe they had to sell their part of A&E to allow them to buy 20th Century. I was sending. Yeah, I am getting a bit. I can tell my nose is kind of getting worse here. Yes, I think the thing is with like A&E is a really tricky one because some of Europe isn't actually a part of it, so they haven't got full global distribution rights. I don't know why they didn't. I think it might be like it's its own separate company, so therefore they would have to put it out to bids because Hearst would be like, we want more money, and it might be deemed like, say Discovery says, well, we'll give you this much. Disney then can't go, there we go. So there could be there's probably legal reasons of the bidding wars of like how it works, and maybe it does seem weird of why Disney would do that. But the whole issue, I think, with A&E not being available internationally, kind of, they sold as like History Channel became Sky History over here, so it's very, very tricky. Like, final question from Bad Dog Gamer. Will you be watching Nomadland? It won the most awards at the BAFTAs. Obviously, the BAFTAs is going on right now, so I'll be doing a report on that in a minute. I am going to watch it. I mean, it came on to Canada yesterday. On Friday. It's coming on here in April 30th. I am going to watch it out of pure, just see what it's like. I have a problem with movies that win a lot of awards now. Generally, they're not the kind of movie I tend to like to watch. I mean, I like independent, I don't mind watching the other one. But at the same time, I quite like Transformers and things blowing up. So these kind of smaller indie movies aren't necessarily what I would say. But I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it when it arrives. Yes. So let's... thanks a million for Book of... Is the Book of Pooh? I don't know if that one is on there, is it? I don't know if I've seen that one on Disney Plus in the US, so I'll just have a quick look. I don't know if it is on the US to Book of Pooh. Oh no, it is, yeah. I don't know why that one's not on there. But there's so many weird stuff with this random. It's so annoying. It is so annoying how it is. Yeah, so it is on. So sorry about that one. It is on there. Right. On that note, So again, thank you very much to everyone that's been on the live chat. Huge thank you to everyone. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much for being members. Again, just thank you for all of your support. Really makes a massive difference. So I'll be back the same time next week. We'll be doing a live chat, and I'll be popping up in the community tab and also in the Patreon with questions and stuff. And all that goes. Thank you very much. See you guys soon. Laters.